one of the grooms becomes very, very irate and angry with me about his list of deal breakers and demands a showdown, gets very heated.
He wants you to apologise?
Yes, yes.
We're back for another season of MAFS, and from what I've seen in the preview, we need the experts as much as we've ever needed them before. One of them is on the line. The first expert that we've actually had on the channel, John Aiken. Hello.
Oh, how are we? Are we excited about this coming Series 12?
Yeah. We're actually probably too excited. I've been watching a lot of the media that's come out so far about this new season, and you've been talking a lot about social media and how it's affected dating. So what do you mean about how social media, like what is TikTok doing that's making dating so hard right now?
Well, what it's doing is it's essentially giving people really quite extreme views about dating mindsets. So you'll have coming in saying, I've got my warrior mindset on. I want women to serve. I want to protect them. I want to make all the decisions. I won't go with anybody who's got any ambition or career drive. So it's a very extreme sort of philosophy. And the women are coming in saying, look, I'm a wife, traditional wife. I want to serve. I want them to make all the decisions, but I really want them to be extremely wealthy.
It's so interesting because we've seen in the packages that we've been sent already, so this is not giving anything away, but Lauren definitely in the trailer is coming across as that trad wife. It's so interesting that she runs this successful business, but also she wants that subserviency in a relationship.
What surprised me about it was that they say it very confidently. They're very outspoken about what they will put up with. For her, look, if she doesn't have to work at all but has an extremely strong-minded, wealthy, protective husband, then that's what she wants. I think the other thing I find is with social media is that they give them this idea that the grass is always greener. They have a long list of boxes to tick, and if there's one single thing that doesn't measure up, then they get out.
Yeah, I don't understand this checklist that people seem to have these days. Is it because, in this world we want it all and we can kind of have it all, so we expect that from relationships?
I think it's got a lot to do with the disposable nature of dating. They're on these apps. They're swiping all the time. If they don't like a brunette, they go until they find a blonde. If they've got they don't want someone with a career, then they just keep moving until they find someone who's not doing anything. And so it's this a sense of, I don't have to put up with anything because there's this huge dating pool out there that I can swipe towards.
So you're a relationship expert. So when you're not in MAFS, are you like Michael Bublé at Christmas? Do you just like go back into your cave, or are you seeing couples? Are you seeing couples privately where you're sitting down and trying to work through their issues as well without cameras?
Oh, look, I have seen couples privately for 30 years. I do like the idea of becoming Michael Bublé just for a couple of months. What I have found with this whole show is that when it's on, the spotlight burns very brightly, and so by the time it's over after 10 weeks, I'm ready to sort of disappear for 6 months or so and start the matching process. It's a very long and exhausting show to be a part of. It's fantastic, but no doubt that you need a break after it all finishes.
Now, when you do break, obviously you're hanging out with your wife, who you've been with for, is it Kelly, almost 18 years?
Yes, 18 years with Kelly, absolutely. She's seen, the rise of the show. I remember getting an audition email back a decade ago, and she saw the email and said, well, that's a weird show. And I thought, well, it can't hurt. It's probably not going to go anywhere. And then it exploded. And
is she a little bit like my partner in the way that when I say something on the channel where he's highly embarrassed by it, is Kelly or your kids like, Dad, what are you doing? What? Why are you pulling that face?
Look,
why are you saying these things?
Yeah, they do. I mean, my wife brings over the girlfriends regularly through the season for champagne viewing events, and they yell at the screen, but they also yell at me for some of my matches, some of my decisions, some of the words that I say to them. But that's a part of it. You've got to have thick skin now to be on any sort of reality TV, because everybody has got their thoughts on things, and they'll stop me in the street just to give me a serve about what I've said or who I matched.
And it must be frustrating for you too, because obviously there's a lot that's filmed. It's filmed over many, many hours each day, but all of your advice doesn't really make the cut. So from the what I lovingly call them the love lab rats in the experiment, when I've spoken to them, post seasons, they've always said to me, we actually got some really great advice from John or Alessandra or Mel, but you don't really see all of it. That must be a little bit frustrating sometimes too.
It is, but also you sort of have to realise that if you're going to be on a show, you've got to let go of the edit. It's over to other people that are producing the show. But what I'm always thinking in the back of my mind is I've got to hit them between the eyes with short, sharp advice. Some of it'll air, some of it won't, but at least after the show, these people have a chance of changing, of learning, and of getting love if they haven't found it already on the show.
Yeah, and obviously seeing their behaviour being played back to them is probably a really good way to do that. Speaking of behaviour, this particular season, is there anything that's made you go, oh, okay, that's new?
Oh, yeah. We've got a number of storylines. Obviously, we've got that social media extreme sort of TikTok mindset, which we haven't had before. But also we've got a couple that we thought were strangers who we matched, but actually when they walked down the aisle and locked eyes, they knew each other. We've never had that situation. So the question becomes, can they fall in love with the help of the experts this time around? Also, something that's very new is right at the end of the show, as they're moving into the final vows, we hit them with a new format point, a new challenge, which really dangles temptation in front of them. And we're wanting to see whether they make good choices with their partner or whether they make very poor choices. And unfortunately, a number of them really drop the ball when it comes to prioritising their marriages.
For the trash, mess and drama, I love the idea of dangling some something a little bit tasty in front of them. But for some of them in previous seasons, they didn't really need anything dangled too hard. They've already, they've jumped ship before.
That's right.
So I don't know if you needed to do it.
And yeah, I mean, essentially what we tried to do every year is just the format pretty much stays the same, but every now and then we'll give it a little tweak just to keep not only the audience guessing, but also participants, because they've seen 11 seasons going into this year. So we want to keep them on their toes to do things that are different. But also it's a real world challenge because, when you are with your partner, there will be times where you go to a restaurant or a bar or a party or a club and you'll meet a stranger who you really click with. And you'll think, well, there are more than one person out there for me, but I'm happy with what I've got, and so I'm just going to let that person go. So we thought, keeping in mind with that, we will put that same sort of situation in front of our couples to see what they do, and it's very interesting viewing.
I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to give anything away, but I have seen the first episode and I have to quickly chat to you about Elliot. Elliot is one of those grooms that we've met before. He has a list. He has a long list of things that he wants and non-negotiables. And when I was watching you sitting down chatting with Elliot, again, without giving anything away, it's funny. I was watching your face and I was like, I don't know if John wants to listen to this shit anymore. Like, it looked like your face was like, keep telling me your long list of things that are goes and no-goes.
Yeah. Well, look, this is one of the things that they, not just Elliot, but all of them seem to have, is this particular lengthy list of non-negotiables, deal breakers. And one of the biggest challenges we have is trying to get them to be curious, to let go of that and embrace, the person that we match them with. But Elliot particularly is very strict about what he will and won't put up with. And it's a real challenge for couples out there because it means that essentially you are consistently moving on from people before you even give them a chance. And in Married at First Sight, some of the participants came on and they said to me, John, I'm here because at least I know that the guy that you matched me with will stick around for 10 weeks. So they're struggling out there in the real world getting commitment.
It is tough. As someone who's recently just got into a relationship in the last sort of 6 months, and before that was on Tinder, and it's awful. It's an awful place. So stay with Kelly, John. Just stay with Kelly. Don't wrap that up, okay?
I think, I tell you what else is very interesting this year is that one of the grooms becomes very, very irate and angry with me about his list of deal breakers and demands a showdown, a sit down, where he wants some closure and he wants me to apologise. So that is box office viewing as well, because it gets very heated.
He wants you to apologise?
Yes, yes. Lots to see this year that we haven't seen in the past.
Well, I'm sure in trademark fashion for John Aiken, you'll be there, relaxed, back with your legs crossed, ready to watch all of it unfold.
That's the best way to do it. Not get too personally involved in it all and just know that some people are going to take your advice and plenty of them are not.
You can watch it on 9 and 9 Now. It is back for another year, Married at First Sight. John Aiken, Esbert, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a real pleasure. Enjoy the series.